Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Every journey begins with a simple act of care. For Quest to Unite Africa, that journey started with something simple: a mother, a newborn, and a promise that no life would be forgotten. We did not begin with buildings, we began with people. We packed mother newborn kits with our own hands because real change starts where the need is greatest. Those kids traveled farther than we imagined, and they opened our eyes to a deeper truth. Aid saves lives, but infrastructure saves generations. So we grew. Together with donors, volunteers, and partners, we sent a medical container to Burkina Faso. Not just supplies, but hope. Not just boxes, but proof that when a community comes together, healing moves across borders. That moment changed us because we realized something powerful. We weren't just delivering help, we were building a future. Now the journey continues. The next chapter is bigger than a shipment, bigger than a campaign. We are raising funds to build a state-of-the-art hospital, a place where mothers can give birth safely, where families can find care close to home, and where communities can grow stronger for generations to come. This hospital is not just a structure, it's a promise. A promise that healthcare will no longer be temporary. A promise that dignity will have a permanent home. And just like every step before, we cannot do this alone. Every gift, every brick, every name placed on the founder path becomes part of a story that began with compassion and is growing into legacy. It helps us move from emergency aid to lasting healing, from containers to care that never leaves, from vision to reality. Join us, stand with us, help us build a hospital that will serve generations, moving healthcare into action. Visit q2ua.org today.
Okay, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning. Thank you again for the birthday shout outs. You know, I'm 44 years old or 44 years young, however you want to call it. And we are living in some interesting times. Last night, I did get a chance to go and see some of the things that the president had said, the president of the United States. And, you know, one of the things that which is what I have here, day 34. And back to the Stone Age. Look, let's just understand every narrative that he had in terms of this was for the Iranian people, this was to make sure that they could spread democracy, you know, all the buzzwords, all the keywords. This is for freedom. This is for America. You know, that sounds good. That may give me a few more hits on the YouTube algorithm. But the reality is, we all saw that that was fake. I mean, let's just understand this. They now see that there's a division and a schism because black folks aren't, we are not engaged in that. We're here as a neutral party. And by and large, we are. By and large, this is really the very first time that you will have a dissenting people where we have stated, don't come around here with that mess. Oh, you want to draft us? Don't come around here with that mess. Draft up a check that I can cash and actually buy something tangible. See, the reality has always been this: holding people accountable means that you're holding someone to be able to produce and provide for what was stated. The Most High is not an Elohim that can be mocked. He's not. You can't go on out there with empty words. We're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age. We're going to take out critical civilian infrastructure. That is a war crime. That is. When you do targeting and you're a targeting officer, I don't care what you say, what you do, you better make sure that you're not targeting civilian infrastructure. Even if you talk about it, that's technically a war crime. Because generally speaking, when you talk about something, you intend to do it. So don't worry, they're documenting their case. And at the end of this, when people have to cede, cry uncle, yell that they're throwing in the white flag. See, do you see what's happening? They're trying to throw in, well, we're going to give on up and this and that. No, you're not. Not so fast. You just can't walk away like that. They would not have Iran. Let's just put this in, and let's just understand this. It's called empathy that obviously this generation lacks. You can't go on in and blow up somebody's house. If that happened here in America, what the United States did to Iran, and Iran did that to the United States. No, no, they would be fighting tooth and nail to destroy the regime, to destroy the nation, to have that nation to where it is literally balkanized, it is split up, it is administratively controlled by other nations to ensure that whatever wickedness had been thought about, conjured up, discussed, can no longer be an option because everything and everyone has been dealt with in the ICC ICJ, and there will be another summary execution of other folks, just like what you had in Saddam Hussein, and just like what you had with the World War III folks, or excuse me, World War II folks, and that German regime. See, what we're witnessing is the death of white supremacy. I'm sorry. It is. This is the death of white supremacy. This is the death of vanity. Understand, this isn't something that we just have talked about right now, today. It's no, this is what we have been stating for a while because we have analyzed everything. The Most High made us experts. And now all of a sudden, their worst case scenario has come to the forefront of, well, somebody's not going along with their game. Somebody's not going along with the imagination, the fantasy. Because why? Because in order for white supremacy to have gone this far, you had to have people like the one son of, was it Museveni over in Ghana, saying that they're going to lend the aid of support to the Middle Eastern nation, or that Eastern Mediterranean nation. That's how wickedness continues, and that's what it is. So go ahead, Uganda, because remember, Kenya and Uganda, have you seen that they have the biggest sellouts now? Well, why is that? Because they're already trying to tell you where they're going to try to make their home. Surprise, surprise, when we go back to the land where we have been scattered, where we had first been scattered, surprise, surprise that we're not going to be chased back to the land. Yes, we will. That's why the waters, the people will rise on up to stop that. Oh, not so fast. Why? You owe us some funds. You owe us some restitution. Restitution isn't always paid in dollars. When you eat a meal at a restaurant and you don't have the cash, what do they tell you? You're going to have to pay some sort of restitution. What's that? Start washing dishes. Oh my goodness. Isn't that called service? Isn't that called serving? I think that's second Ezra 15, if I'm not mistaken. We covered this. How can you pay back $1 when your dollar doesn't even make 15 cents? When your dollar is even less than a penny? At least a penny's metal, $1 is paper. What can you do? And honestly, it's nothing. What do you think the Germans are doing? They literally had to build back up their economy from World War II. Because why? Because everything was destroyed, even their monetary system. Do you know that it was little by little that they were able to get their monetary system back? They didn't actually get into the position of power that they hold right now until the early 90s, when literally the Soviet Union fell. And then it was about late 90s, that's when you had the euro. And then in 2003, that's when you actually had the euro actually in circulation. And once the euro went into circulation, that's when Germany was actually able to become a more economic powerhouse, not just in Europe, but also worldwide. These are the things that happen, but again, what people don't understand, that this destruction has actually been foretold. And I know a lot of our people don't like to hear it, but the problem is, I don't know what to tell folks, even right now, as they are in the midst of this. You're at a war. The war's not going to stop. What he's doing is he's giving you about the 90 days via law that, number one, not only will they have the war, but that war also will then be authorized. That's the key word, congressional authorization, via Congress. And then at that time, not only are you going to see a lot of different things going on, but that's when you start to realize here, and folks will start to realize here in the United States, oh man, I think we should have, could have, would have. And it's going to be too late. I'm going to show you this. This is some more interesting Iranian Lego propaganda, but take a look.
All feeds are green, systems normal. Confirmed, drones are steady. Sector scans are clean, relaxed watch. Agreed, all normal. Operator, initiate Mirage protocol. Initiating now. Observe the wave propagation. It's spreading across all screens. Ghosts just popped up everywhere.
They're fake, overwhelming the system.
Initiating filter protocols.
Still multiplying. This is deliberate.
Rerouting power. Hold on. What in the world is this mess? Drones flying everywhere? This makes no sense. I don't get it. Who's in charge here? Visibility confirmed. Initiating override. Acknowledged. Feed stabilizing. Full control established. Target locked. Confirmed. Enemy drones are under our command. No one. This here was never a battle. All units are in position. The board is set. Confirmed. Monitoring all feeds. Control is absolute. Execute phase 2. Maintain oversight. System stable.
What is this? A cyber attack! Our defenses are down! This is cyber dominance. We must counterattack. This is a global crisis. Unbelievable.
The operation is complete. Iran stands victorious. A new era begins.
Okay, there we go. So I had to get my mic back on. So this is what I wanted to show right here. Global reset. Oh boy. Global reset. Do you all see the implications of what that is? Wasn't that Jeremiah 50 and 51? Isn't that where everybody will flee to their own land? Isn't that where we're seeing these nations being drawn into this activity? They didn't want to go on in. So submit service to who? They'll be submitting service. That's second Esdras. This is second Esdras 15. $44. Let's start at 43. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. They shall come to her and besiege her, the star, and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. What's the star? I think the star is nuclear weapons. That's what I believe. Why is that? They're showing you how this global reset is going to look like. And everyone that is just here thinking that everything is honky dory, it's a okay. Wait a second. Didn't they just have something like that? And I don't know what, leave the world behind? When did that happen? What was the setting of that? Summertime? What was happening? The world was out of control. They could not control everything that was what, AI driven. What are they doing right now? Having everything with some sort of AI control? I'm just saying it kind of makes a little bit of sense. Who was involved in that? Eastern nations. Is this just Iran? No, it's not just Iran. In my opinion, I believe that it's the East. That includes Russia, China, and obviously North Korea. And I'm going to say that the quote unquote traditional allies of the U.S. are getting ready to be rolled up into that confederation. Now, they have been left high and dry. And I was listening, I don't know if this was Canadian Prepper or not, but it was very poignantly stated that all of the traditional security agreements that had been in place for these types of things, they all left. Everything has now been consolidated into what? The Middle East. If you didn't know, that strait is basically like a valley. The strait or the valley of decision. And if you listen to the rhetoric, 2 to 3 weeks. Why 2 to 3 weeks? And here's the funny thing. I didn't say that. That's what the president said. Because understand that that is irreparable damage. We're already at irreparable damage. I believe that 2 to 3 weeks that's when the U.S. will start to feel something. I thought it was going to be about 2 to 3 months. I really did. I believe that what they were trying to do was to stall and delay until at least, you know, mid-May, early June. That's when people start to get out of school and things of that nature. I don't think that they can control the timeline anymore. Because the timeline is usually the West, particularly the US, likes to give themselves at least 90 to 120 days. So they are actually trying to strike first and then roll people on in. Well, your reinforcements are coming. They're on the way. They don't wrap up. They got to go through their administrative stuff. They got to go through their trainings and everything else. All of these traditional models to try to get units ready for the fight is not there. Let me get people spun up. Let me get everybody tracking. Let's go through rehearsals. That's not there. And that's at least about 60 to 90 days because there'll be an exercise, a pre exercise. Think about what Russia did. Russia did an exercise. Remember in Ukraine, before that started, Russia did an exercise starting in November. They started to build up forces September of 2021. They don't have this luxury. And on top of that, Russia didn't have to sail ships of equipment and fly planes of equipment and personnel. Russia was able to just roll up on in there straight from the factories and the bases. So now you already have a strategic logistics disadvantage. When it comes to war, you don't want to have people consolidated. You're able to have people more dispersed because why? Because when folks are in a classroom, I'm telling you this, when folks are in a classroom, when the school is in session, normalcy creates stability. When you strike and the massive buildup, then let me just say, I don't think that they're going to try to go for Cards Island. I don't think so. I think, in my opinion, they're going to try to go across from Kuwait to Iraq. And then from Iraq, you can cross the river into Iran. It's at the delta of basically the Euphrates Tigris when it dumps out into the Persian Gulf. That's a lot easier than having to try to fly people on in. Hey, look here. And then they just roll through there. The problem is they're going to be fighting a lot of the popular mobilization forces, the PMF, which are Iranian linked and backed in Iran. They're also going to go through issues with not just Kuwait, but also more than likely Syria. And that's also a gamble because those are the actual checkpoints. Because if you have that route, that's an avenue of approach, and that avenue of approach becomes decimated. Well, if you continue to just head west unimposed, eventually you're going to head over to the Mediterranean Sea. And there's a nation over there in the Eastern Mediterranean, east of the Eastern Mediterranean nation, that will be exposed. You got to remember, they've layered that with many countries. They've layered that with Saudi Arabia, with Kuwait, with Iraq, with Jordan. That goes down. I know it's hard for people to literally imagine that goes down. Now, I believe Iran will give the people some space to maneuver. Hey, we're going to be there. You got about a week. If your government cares about you, or if they care about you, then they will get you up on out of there. Return back to wherever you believe you're from, but they'll be giving those those DNA tests. You're more genetically compatible with the with the Azov region, with the Ukrainian Eastern or Western Russian region, Polish region. A lot of people will definitely will acknowledge their convert status real quick. Because why? Because it's all happening. Ernest says we have some Air Force reserves deploying to Kuwait real soon. Yeah, yeah, that's more than likely. I still think it was always the play of they were going to do this initial build up and then and their model their plan with AI. You could tell, you could see it in this video. AI was going to be there to bomb them into the Stone Age, and the problem that they've encountered is that you're dealing with really what it is a more sophisticated people. Their pride got the best of them. I want to put this link out here. This is from the Times. No better to invade than on an Easter weekend. Gee, surprise, surprise. Is Trump planning a ground invasion of Iran on Good Friday? The president's weaponized unpredictability is destabilizing for the Middle East and for the world. Now they're starting to call it what it is, destabilizing. The stabilization all of a sudden. And there was something that I read in this article that was very, very poignant. I like to scroll through some things here. And when this article, it says, with his rhetorical brinksmanship, Trump has allowed the U.S. military to build up the troops it will need to raid Iran, if not to fight a prolonged battle. This could enable a series of coastal forays to try to clear the land nearest the Strait of the Threats to shipping. The best time to do this is when markets are closed, especially if the military has only short, sharp missions in mind before they reopen. When better than the coming 3-day weekend when Wall Street and Europe will close for Good Friday? Weekend warrior. Weekend warrior. Now, what type of a retaliation do you think that that's going to be? This is why I said, family, we're here in Passover season. This is Passover season. I'm going to go ahead and honor my Shabbat. Come Friday, tomorrow night. Second Esdras 15:44. They shall come to her and besiege her. The star and all her wrath shall go, or on all wrath shall they pour upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her. Look, our people, they're in love with this place. It's love. And don't don't misunderstand. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm looking at this article right here. It's not just Easter isn't just pagan, Leela. That's Ishtar. That's Anta. That is, look, this is a sacrifice to their principality. Let's see what we can offer. Let's see what blood we can offer. Do you realize we're not offering our blood anymore? You know what, though? It doesn't have the same appeal as that Hebrew blood, that Israelite blood. It doesn't have the same appeal as that Yahudan blood. Can we get that back on the menu? Oh, that's the real source of power. I laugh because this article, when you look at this, oil gains with Brent surging more than 8% as Trump's Iran war speech stokes fears of further escalation. As I was looking at this article about an hour ago, this was updated 4 minutes ago. It says oil gains with Brent surging more than 8%. An hour ago, 6%. It's out of control now. It's out of control. So all of the things that had been utilized to try to manipulate the markets, it's gone now. This is why it's literally they got less than 20 days. They got less than 2 weeks. So 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Look, do you understand? It's going to be before 2 to 3 weeks. They're trying to, so the generals are probably, they're trying to say, give us 30 days. Trump's like, no, I can't. I don't have any political, like, you have to understand there's political capital. Basically, how much will people believe you until they start to realize it's a lie? Because it's not just with the world leaders, it's also with their people. I can't hold on anymore or else they're about to rise on up. Have you understood what was going on in Bahrain? We don't even know what's on the ground in Bahrain because they're censoring Bahrain heavily because basically Bahrain is out of control. Oh, and there's no forces that's there to try to put that place back in order, at least on the Western dominated side. Very interesting. Trump said the U.S. will hit Iran extremely hard over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Trump added the war won't last long and that discussions with Tehran are ongoing. And those are all lies. So, very interesting to see that now people are not jumping for the old Donald ruse. Oil jumped in volatile trading as U.S. President Donald Trump warned of further military aggression against Iran in the next 2 to 3 weeks, dampening hopes for an imminent de-escalation. It's not going to de-escalate. And if the war, I'm going to say this, not if, but when things wind down, it's not going to be the same. I have to tell people the day that this place changed in earnest, the day that this place destroyed itself in earnest, was on February 28th, 2026. It's not going back. Now, back to the Stone Age? Yeah, back to the Stone Age. Because here is the issue that they have to look at. It's going back to 2nd Esdras 15:45. And they that remain under her shall do service unto them that put her in fear. Why do they have to do service? Because they ain't got no money. When you have this global reset right here, how you going to make money? How you going to make money when, look, they're going to have terminal.
We lost so many. Their sacrifice won't be forgotten. We have to learn from this. We will. That's our duty. The quiet teaches us the most.
A world at rest. Think about what they do. They literally just said, we lost so many. See, service can mean many, multiple things. Oh my goodness. I want to show this article. Because I have to share this so you all can see right here. China assets emerge as safe haven amid global bond sell-off. This is as of March 27th. But says Beijing, as a sweeping sell-off gripped global markets recently and rattled investor sentiment over rising energy prices and inflation expectations, China's bond market has remained notably stable, underscoring its emerging role as a resilient haven. But I want you to understand why that is. It's simply this: because China does business in Africa. Do you all understand the relationships that we've had over on the continent since 2023? This weekend literally marks the 3-year anniversary of QTUA. Do you all see that? 3 years ago, that's what the Most High had let us know, had given us that understanding to do, to build together, to work together, to move together. And now we have relationships on out there. It's not the job of one man. This is the job of us being a people to come back to our people while there's still some sort of a resource that's available. This hospital project initiative, it shows that we are starting, that we're putting our money, our heart, where our mouth is. They're trying to tell you that we don't have much longer. Do you? I pray that we understand this. We do not have much longer. They're trying to throw out every trick in the book. They're trying to do a moon launch. They're trying to do everything that they can to do to have every distraction that they can have. This is where we're at, family. As I showed you all earlier, a ground invasion this weekend. Yeah, probably. Why else would you get on out there and do a speech probably 48 hours before the ground invasion? Duh. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Rally the troops. Hey, we're about to do this, and when we do this, we're gonna be the best and the bestest of the best, best. Because it's gonna be so bigly and huge and best that you all won't even be able to stand how awesome it is. Everything is awesome. When you're stuck in your dream, that's going to be a nightmare and then lead to your captivity. I mean, service, right? Service sounds better, right? This is that service. So, family, I do have off tomorrow for Good Friday. I will be on. I don't know what this thing is going to start to look like. But what I do know is this: the Most High is in control. He is always in control. But I thank the Most High that we've done things that He's allowed us to do. None of us should be worried. None of us should be fearful at all. I had spoken to my family yesterday. And, you know, it's sombering when they see the truth and they understand the truth, but they can't say anything. This is the valley of decision for them. And this isn't just a valley of decision. This is literally seeing the Most High raining down the fire. Because the prophets of Baal have been trying their best to say everything's going to be quick, everything's going to go back to normal. You remember at that nth hour towards the beginning, as it's starting to get late, which means as the people are taking no interest, what did they start to do? They start to cut themselves. They started to shed their own blood. When people are like, man, that sounds like a self deletion mission, because it is. Don't get it twisted. It is. That's why you have to pray for your sons, your daughters, your husbands, your wives, your family that's in the military right now, that the Most High saves them and protects them. We were going to get to this point. We talked about this 5 weeks ago. Now we're here. Day 34, we're now here. I could give you better news. I could say, hey, everything is awesome. I could, sound it on out and put a beat to it, and maybe YouTube, or not YouTube, but AI would give me some video. It's awesome. It's great. Good. Look, Trump is going to get on in there. Trump is going to do his thing. You are just doubters and naysayers. Listen to our orange Elohim. What, you don't believe me? Huh? Oh, ye of little faith? Huh? To show that he is like Elohim, he's going to do it on Good Friday. Do you see these parallelisms here? This this isn't it's not to be exaggerated. This is real. This is the truth. I don't know how else to explain it to folks. I try my best to. But what can you do? What can you say? And yep, Tyrus, he did say that he was the chosen one. For real, he did say that. I wish that I was lying. But we'll have time to talk about all that tomorrow. We'll have a great conversation. We'll talk about and discuss what is going on, how things are looking, and how we as a people need to proceed. Because I'm sorry, it's not going to be, oh, I'm going to hang out in the Caribbean. Man, they're about to start blasting in the Caribbean. Because if they let over one oil shipment, several others are going to go, and then they're going to try to obviously do something there. So that's about to pop off with South America, with Central America. Where can you go? Africa. So we'll have that discussion here on this channel. Most High willing. So with that, family, I need to get up on out of here. I've punched my clock this week. I punched my shift. It's an enjoyable shift. I enjoy these shifts. You ever have a job that you go to, you actually enjoy going to work? Hallelujah. With that said, family, most high willing, I'll see you back here tomorrow. Don't forget, tell your friends. We're going to open up this panel. And you already know Trump started that news cycle. All right, so Trump started the war cycle Wednesday. You all realize that, right? Yesterday, he started the war cycle. Now it's the 72-hour buildup. There's an operational buildup that always happens. It's happening right now as we speak. So this is going to be interesting. Other than that, be blessed, family, in this Pesach season. And may the Most High continue to bless you, guide you, and move on your behalf, that you are the light unto the nations that we have all been called to be. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.